Today's update sees the release of Necromancy's long-anticipated fourth Conjure, the Phantom Guardian. Unlike the current roster of Conjures, focused around improving the player's damage and dishing out a ton of damage on their own, this Conjure plays an entirely different role. The Phantom Guardian takes on a defensive tank role on behalf of the player, much the same way that a Hellhound familiar would. Instead of absorbing 20% of incoming damage like a Hellhound, the Phantom Guardian will absorb 5% of all core damage types that the player takes, capped at a maximum of 10% of your ability damage. So in other words, it will reduce 5% of damage that you take, but only up to 220 damage per hit. If you take a 2000 damage hit, it will be reduced by 100 damage. However, if you get hit at 10,000, it won't reduce the damage by 500, but only by 220. In addition to this passive effect, the Guardian comes with its own command ability that will deal damage to your target and up to 4 targets in a 1-tile radius. The Phantom will gain stacks as you take damage, 1 stack for every hit that the player receives, capped at 25 stacks, similar to your Skeleton's Rage stacks. With every Valor stack, the damage that this command attack will do increases, up to a maximum of 330% ability damage. So all this sounds pretty promising, but is it actually any good in practice? To find out, I've tested this at a handful of bosses and Slayer creatures to get an idea of how strong the Phantom really is. I'll be showcasing Vorkath, Zuck, High Enrage Arch-Glacor, and several Slayer creatures to demonstrate both the passive defensive bonus as well as the AoE potential of the command ability. Vorkath seems like the prime candidate to test out the Phantom's defensive prowess. Everyone knows how unnecessarily painful Vorkath is, with unavoidable damage of all attack styles coming at the player constantly throughout the fight. While there are some really big hits, like Vorkath's Breath Attack or Zemorigal's Finger, a lot of the damage is coming from these small hits from the minions that really add up over time. Bringing along the Phantom was a noticeable reduction in damage. Don't get me wrong, the Vorkath encounter still dishes out way too much nonsense damage with little to no counterplay, and the Phantom doesn't make the boss any more fun or more reasonable. But in my testing today, I used about 6 doses of brew, less than I would normally on my Iron Man. So credit where credit is due, at Vorkath, the Phantom is a win. Zuck is already a substantially more fair encounter than Vorkath, but it shares a similarity in that the biggest challenge and most of the damage that the player will take isn't from the boss itself, but from the lesser monsters. In this case, during the waves. There's a lot of monsters that can attack you at once, so bringing the Phantom and reducing many small hits during the waves is hugely noticeable. It can allow you to comfortably play more aggressively and perform some riskier lures, thereby clearing waves faster and taking even less damage in the long run. It's often been said that in Runescape, the best defense is a good offense. But sometimes we need a little help or a little confidence booster to play more offensively, and the Phantom is the perfect candidate for that. If you're interested in learning some of those fancier, riskier lures, check out my Grandmaster guides, showcasing how to get sub-11 and sub-14 minute full Zuck clears in normal mode and hard mode respectively. High Enrage Arch-Glacor. Honestly, the Phantom is not hugely noticeable here, as the hits are already really high. Any damage reduction is welcome, and this will probably just boost your confidence when pushing for 2000 or 4000% enrage. But don't expect this to suddenly make you immortal. The command ability is also pretty bad here, even at full Valor stacks. Certainly not worth using over Threads of Fate or Spectral Scythe when it comes to dealing with the minions. Speaking of the command ability, let's look at it in the context of some Slayer creatures. When doing AoE Slayer, you'll build Valor stacks really quickly as you're constantly getting hit by many creatures, so you'll very often find yourself at full 25 stacks. However, the command ability itself doesn't really do anything remarkable from what I've seen. Even at max stacks, I've never seen it hit higher than a 7000, and the AoE effect is not really reliable either. If it were a 3-tile or even a 2-tile radius as opposed to its 1-tile radius, this AoE might be much more significant when doing Slayer. The only upside I see, as opposed to a command zombie, is that you can use this ability over and over during the lifespan of your Conjure, so it might be better than an auto attack on your Revo bar, for example. All in all, to summarize my overall thoughts on the Phantom Guardian, it's a bit of a defensive power creep that really shines in places where you're taking damage from multiple enemies. Think places like Zuck, Vorkath, or Slayer. For larger hits, it's not so impactful, but it's better to have it than to not have it. And as an offensive option, in my opinion, it's next to useless. The command doesn't do a lot of damage even at max stacks, and the AoE is lackluster at best. It's nice that the 4th Conjure is finally in the game, but it doesn't change Necromancy in any especially meaningful way. I can't help but think that a mummy would have been a more interesting 4th Conjure, something that could have done a unique type of damage, maybe like Solak's Blight damage, or either one of old school's Burn or Doom damage types. Maybe the command ability could have been some form of bind, using the mummy's wrappings to tangle up targets, leaving them susceptible to being flanked, for example. But I'm no game designer, and who knows, maybe the 5th Conjure could even be something like that. In any event, I'm glad the 4th Conjure is finally in game, and even though it's a bit dull and doesn't shake up gameplay in any super meaningful way, it's a good update for Necromancy. Let me know in the comments if you found any interesting uses for the Phantom and its command ability. Thanks for watching, see you next time.